Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. All right, this is pretty much the final Historic National Road episode in West Virginia. This is the only one outside Wheeling, and this is somewhat near Tridelphia, which is one of 3 communities on the National Road in West Virginia. Now, there's a place called Roneys Point, and there's a marker about it right behind me. Plus, I'll show you a historic building, interesting one. So, I promise you this will be a great one. And of course, the sirens go off. All right, here's another State of West Virginia sponsored marker. It's actually the West Virginia Historical Commission. It looks like it was put up here in 1963, if I'm reading it right. The numbers have faded, but Roneys Point. Here is located the historic Heimberger House, one of the first and most famous of the numerous stopping places which sprang up to serve the traffic on the National Road. Still standing, it is now called the Old Stone House. Okay. Now, I originally thought that this was going to be a restaurant because if you go to the West Virginia's tourism website about the National Road, there isn't much information, but they recommend you get a place to eat at Roneys Point. And that is the building they're referring to. It is not a restaurant. People actually live there. I actually talked to one of the residents there. So, let's take a look. So this is now known as this Old Stone House, formerly the Heimberger House. And so, but it was also a tavern, and the resident I was talking to earlier who lives there, she said it was once also a truck stop. So, very interesting stuff. And then here's a plaque marked by the Daughters of the American Revolution in 1921. So yeah, very, very cool. Here's just a little side of it. Looks like a little ghost sign up there. All right, so according to the 1894 book, The Old Pike, written by Thomas Seawright, there's some little history about this area. And it says here, Roneys Point was reached, about 10 miles from Wheeling. The owner of the land here was Roney, and its peculiar conformation, a high ridge ending in a point on the south side of the road, and it gave it the name Roneys Point. It is a familiar name among locals, and was a lively place during the palmy days of the road. And then on the north side of the road, at Roneys Point, a large stone tavern was kept by one Ninian Bell prior to the year 1828. He was succeeded by James Beck, Mrs. Sarah Beck, Moses Thornburg, and Jacob Beck, in the order named. James and Jacob Beck were not related. The old Sims line of stages stopped at this house when it was kept by James Beck, and then it was the stopping place of the Good Intent line when kept by Jacob Beck. I thought I'd share that little piece of history. So in all honesty, I mean, anything during the 20th century or 21st century for that matter, I don't really know much else. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, on my way to Pennsylvania on the Historic National Road. All right, not too far from there. Jason, sign off.